Hello, Anytime here. Today, I will show you the recap of a French anime titled Mune, Guardian of the Moon. Spoiler alert, watch out and take care. In a fantasy world, their world is without the sun and moon, and they live in total darkness, not until a man single-handedly drags the sun towards their earth. This man becomes the guardian of the sun, and the clan of people who rule and take care of the sun is called the Guardian of the Sun. Likewise, the moon, the god of dreams. The moon works as the god of the dreams, and it comes out at night. A man carves the moon, also called the Guardian of the Moon. The two guardians work together to ensure harmony between morning and evening in this community. As the movie begins, Sohon, the present apprentice of the Guardian of the Sun, Solal, carves his sword, and he goes out to jubilate the fact that he will be crowned as the new Guardian of the Sun the following day, as the tenure of Solal is running to an end. In a family of wax, a young girl, Glim, tells her father she will be going to the inauguration ceremony tomorrow, but her father warns her otherwise. He reminds her of the last time she walked under the sun and how she almost melted away. He begs her to stay home and says he doesn't want to lose her, like he lost her mother, Ursula. He tells her to sleep before the moon freezes them, so they can have a good dream. The moon comes out and freezes them. Meanwhile, at the moon's hideout, the moon guardian's apprentice and the apparent heir of the moon's guardian, Li Yun, stands and praises himself for tomorrow's fortune. On the other hand, a fond little playful boy, Mune, runs around. His father warns him not to make Li Yun angry, and as a punishment, his father tells him not to attend the inauguration ceremony the next day. The following day, the day of the inauguration, Master Solal of the Sun and Master Yule of the Moon prepare for the ceremony. The sun shines on Glim early, so she unfreezes before her father, and she sneaks out of the house to attend the ceremony. Solal calls Sohon, and he announces Sohon as the new guardian of the sun, and they shine the sun toward him so the sun can approve him as the new guardian. The ray of the sun shines on Sohon, and he becomes the new guardian. On the other hand, Yule announces Li Yun. The lunar Yu, which is to approve Li Yun, is brought out. The Eve, however, evades Li Yun. He goes into the place Mune has hidden, and he drags Mune. Mune chases this animal away, but the animal refuses to leave, so Yule says Mune is Eve's choice, and he announces Mune as the new guardian of the moon. This chaotic ceremony is watched by several people, including Glim. After the inauguration, the two guardians are to wish each other well, but Sohon drags Mune closer and tells Mune he stole Li Yun's place. Another viewer of the ceremony is Mox, who works for Necros, a man who thinks he's the rightful owner of the sun and wants to get the sun back. Seeing the turn of things, Mox happily runs back to Necros, who announces that they will surely get their son back now that Solal is dead, and there is disunity between the two guardians. Necros releases some snakes, which, according to him, brings darkness into anyone's heart. The snakes visit Li Yun, while Li Yun is mourning his lost position. They tell Li Yun he's the rightful owner of the moon, and he should work with Necros so they can both get the sun and the moon back. They create total darkness in Li Yun, so Li Yun can work with them. Mune, on the other hand, has no idea of the responsibility he has taken upon himself. He tries to convince Master Yule that he does not know what to do. He's undoubtedly a wrong choice, but Yule turns to a leaf booming of light in a moon shape, just like all his ancestors do when they drop their position. Master Solal also becomes a statue like his ancestors, leaving Sohon and Mune to themselves. The next day, a fly runs into Glim's room. She tries to hold the fly, but the fly runs out of the window. It's a sunny day, so she contemplates whether to leave the house or not. She takes her father's advice and returns inside. Mune keeps struggling with the moon's temple. Due to his naiveness, the temple diverts from its track and thus towards that of the sun's temple, leaving Sohon with the difficulty of correcting it. Glim, a lover of astronomy, astrology, and history, notices something is wrong with the moon's temple. Eventually, Mune gets the temple back on track. However, Li Yun goes to Sohon, He advises So-hoon against Mune and says if Mune continues his reckless act, it will cause doom to the whole city. So So-hoon leaves his temple to fight Mune. While he's away, Necros sends his men to take away the sun's temple. So-hoon gets to the moon's temple. He fights with Mune for being reckless, while Mune pleads that he will do better. Meanwhile, Glim notices the sun's temple has been stolen. She insists that she needs to inform So-hoon about this, so despite her father's pleas, she leaves the house. She calls out for So-hoon at the moon's temple and tells him, so So-hoon runs to his temple to confirm. He realizes Necros has taken the sun away and eventually becomes dark. At Necros' hideout, he celebrates his fate and he breathes darkness into the sun. The sun becomes dark. He asks his subordinates to watch the sun until the sun purges into complete darkness. Glim talks to Mune about his supposed stupidity, and Mune insists it's not his fault. Glim's proximity to the moon makes her freeze. So-hoon arrives. He tells Mune he's the cause of the calamity in their city, so he takes away the moon and gives it back to Lee Yoon. In anger, Mune decides to return to his family members. He gets into the woods, but his family rejects him. They tell him he has thrown away the most important thing to them. And before he leaves them, he promises his father he will correct his mistakes. Lee Yoon tells So-hoon that Necros took the sun, so So-hoon leaves to get the sun back. However, Glim asks to follow him because he's warm, and if she isn't near him, she will get frozen. With Glim's knowledge of astrology, they find their way through the forest. They lose their way at a point, then Mune joins them. He begs for an opportunity to look for the sun with them, claiming he must correct his mistakes. Back at home, the moon refuses all of Lee Yoon's commands. The moon refuses to fly, and it also takes away all the powers of the children of the night. As the trio continue their journey, Glim tells the others about the Great Blue Hole, a giant hole that barely anyone has been able to cross successfully. Like Glim has read in her history book, they get to the Great Blue Hole. At home, the moon withers away and dies, and the moon temple starts walking on its own, becoming the big black house and causing a calamity. By the river, Glim informs the others that the water is too cold for her and she might get frozen and becomes water. So Mune promises to stay with her and hold her. They hold Glim closely, but one of the underwater animals drag her from them. While they struggle to get her back, Phospho, a former moon guardian, comes to rescue them. He gives them Glim back and attempts to leave, but Mune begs him to help them. Reluctantly, Phospho helps them till they come out of the great water. He also uses his powers to strengthen Glim's wax and revive her. Immediately, Glim gains consciousness and figures she's with the historical Phospho. She bombards him with historical questions, which forces Phospho to tell them when Necros became an enemy. Necros was the guardian of the sun, while Phospho was the moon's guardian. Necros wanted the sun for himself, but Solal fought for the people. Solal won the battle, and it dragged Necros underground. Glim asks Phospho why he didn't do anything to save the battle. The question gets Phospho triggered about his cowardice, so he angrily leaves the team. The team continues its journey. At that point, Mune notices the moon is gone. He leaves So-hoon to fight for the sun, while he leaves with Glim to put the temple in control. He bravely recovers the temple. Phospho watches as Mune recovers the temple and admires Mune's courage. He decides to stop being a coward too. Mune and Glim return home, where Lee Yoon tells them the moon has died. Mune decides to carve out another moon from the lands of dreams, just like his ancestors did, so he goes to the land of dreams with Glim. Together, they fight the nightmares around them, and Mune carves another moon shape. On the other hand, So-hoon gets to the underworld, and Necros attacks him with the snakes. Fortunately, Phospho comes to rescue him. In the world of dreams, Glim and Mune kiss each other, and they return to reality. Lee Yoon realizes Mune is indeed the chosen guardian. He bows to Mune before leaving the temple. Meanwhile, Phospho sacrifices himself to kill the snakes around So-hoon and rescues So-hoon. As So-hoon mourns Phospho, Glim and Mune arrive. They all enter the underworld. So-hoon fights with Necros, but he's unable to defeat him. Glim finds the sun, and she blows the darkness out. In the process, she melts away. Mune cries heartbrokenly, but Necros mocks his pain and attempts to defeat him. Mune realizes he can use his powers of dreams to defeat Necros, so he puts Necros into a deep sleep and goes into his dream to remove the snakes that have spread darkness into his heart. This cleanses Necros, and he turns into stone like his ancestors. The world returns to normal, and Sohon acknowledges Mune as the greatest guardian of all time. Upon returning to the world, Mune molds Glim into her shape, and the two guardians set out their inheritance successfully. The union of the sun and moon brings Glim back to life. She goes to the moon's temple and kisses Mune as the movie ends. Thank you for watching the recap. Kindly subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post the next recap. See you next time.